Well, we know the Southern Christian Patriots are on to the Division III championship game on Saturday, and we'll get into that in a little bit here with our national anthem and introductions. Well, as we mentioned, we know the Southern Christian Patriots.
Father in heaven, we ask your blessing on this game we're about to play. Give each one of us the courage to play this game in a manner by which our words and our actions are pleasing to you. Let us enter into this competition in a spirit of sportsmanship and with a respect for the members of the opposing team. We ask you, Father, to bless each one of us, especially the coaches, officials, parents, and players. Keep us under your protection, Father, and by your Son, Jesus Christ, help us be aware of your presence within this game. In your holy name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Okay, third time's the charm on that. We know that the Southern Christian Patriots are on to the Division III championship game on Saturday. The question remains, who will be their opponent? Will it be the Division I national champions from last year in the PAC Panthers, or will it be the Heat from Liberty Christian in their first ever appearance in the NHFA Invitational Tournament? It's the D3 bracket from the panhandle of the United States. Welcome to everyone watching around the world. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside Brendan Daniel. Proud to be with you in Panama City Beach, Florida. Brendan, we'll start with the PAC Panthers. This is a team that's been riddled with injuries throughout the year. Several of their players that had multiple knees blown out. Talked with a couple of them that are in braces for the next 8 to 9 months. But if there's one thing we know, even with the head coach for the PAC Panthers and Tim Yeoman stepping aside from last year, Chance Taylor, the rest of the staff is the same as well. This PAC team comes to play no matter what circumstance they're in.
And it's all about how they come out. You know, if they come out soft, then it's going to be a rough time. But usually when they come out hard, they're going to give you a rough time. And they've done it before. We see it in the Gatlinburg, and we see it in the past as well. They just have to keep on with the punches and keep going.
This PAC Panthers team went 1-4 in their final 5 games. They lost the last 2 games of the regular season, had a win prior to that 2-game losing streak heading into Florida. Meanwhile, for the Liberty Christian Academy Heat, the team out of Richlands, North Carolina, making their first appearance here in this tournament. And they also have no conference championships in their short history since 2023. But coming off of their best season at a 6-3 record, only losing in the playoffs by a score of 22-6 to Sandhills Classical Christian, this Liberty Christian team just as impressive.
And they're going to show today, and they're going to show why they're here and hopefully make a statement.
And we are underway from Pete Edwards Field, and we will have a return. It'll go short of the 35-yard line, carried up, and we will see the Heat take the field for the first time. They've been at the lead of their star quarterback in Eddie Deptola, who leads the team on the rushing yard side, 1,000+ passing yards on the year as well, and he's really been the centerpiece. And he's only a sophomore, has 2 more years to work with beyond this tournament.
Which is great because now you're giving him even more chances to be on the bigger scale. So when it comes to his junior, senior year, this will be a nice little breeze for him.
He's got 2 backs behind him here as this will be handed off. It's actually Daniel Canales who's in the backfield. I beg your pardon. On the other side, it's actually the PAC Panthers who start off with it. It's Patrick Bennett And you have the light jerseys there for the PAC Panthers, darker for Liberty Christian. So we'll make sure we get into Liberty Christian and their star offense later. But Patrick Bennett has stepped up, the junior who has 1,000+ passing yards of his own, also leads the team in rushing attempts. So similar styles in the quarterback side, only separated by a year.
And only the difference between the two probably is PAC is a heavy run offense. They're going to punch you in the mouth, and they're going to make you regret everything they do.
Speaking of which, Gage Taylor gets that punch up to the 50-yard line to move the chains for a first down on a 2nd and 2. Taylor up there on the rushing metric, 39 carries for 188 yards. The senior trying to make his mark in the semi.
And it's a play like that, it's kind of reminiscent of a fullback dive because he's a little bit bigger. So plays like that is when it kind of throws off the defense because you don't know who's going to get the ball.
A decent amount of these players on the roster here, 9 seniors, most of them returning from that national championship roster last year, and 9 juniors this year to soak in this experience. Same with having 13 sophomores and 2 freshmen out of the total 34 on the roster, 1 8th grader as well, and they'll have movement here to move it back to their own territory from midfield. They'll actually call it offsides. Looked like there may have been some movement there from the PAC offensive line, but only moving in reaction. So moves it into Heat territory.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of Heat players. I jumped the gun a little bit on that one. They have to learn how to be patient because PAC does like to do those little cadences where they can jump people off.
Patrick Bennett will hand it off. This is to Josh Williams. Leads the team in rushing yards at 505 heading into this weekend. And he's got a good carry there to move the chains for a first down.
And they'll rely on him heavily to run that ball. And he's a hard runner. When he has free space, he's pretty fast for a guy his size.
Only had to get about 7 yards there to move it forward with the penalty yardage. And they'll spot it at the 39-yard line. Shaves off the first 2 minutes of this first quarter. PAC Panthers team 3-3 overall in their NHFA appearances. Division I champions last year. As this handoff goes to the outside. Chance for a breakaway. One-on-one action as Jarikus Mackey, I beg your pardon, that is Jarikus Mackey who does carry it there. Holden Smith with the tackle and a big carry from the senior.
And obviously it's running back association because there's a whole bunch of guys that can hurt you here as the PAC Panthers are known for their running game. And they can hit you either way with speed, power, it doesn't matter.
A PAC Panthers team that tasted defeat in that Division I National Championship against Evangel in 2023. Went on to win their conference championship the following Saturday. And the SIFA moved their schedule back so that they could make a conference championship. Then Florida. Here's a carry from Gage Taylor again. Gets tripped up. Another tackle from Holden Smith. Had 18, 5 of them on his own heading into Florida. And another good carry to make it 2nd and 2.
Now as the defensive coordinator, I'm thinking of possibly sending a blitz because they're killing us right now in the running game.
Yeah, on the Liberty Christian side, don't quite have who's on their defensive coordination side. They have 4 assistants there. Sean Richmond leading this team through the 3rd season. The only head coach in program history starting back in 2023. Movement there. It'll be a keeper up the middle. It's Patrick Bennett who will push it forward for PAC. And another first down.
And honestly, that movement hurt them more than it did help them because it gave that quarterback free space just to move up a little bit for a good first down, easy gain.
And Gage Taylor, pretty much anytime he carries the ball, he gains about 5 yards. Kept it on there. The only other player on this roster who has any passing attempts on the season as well.
A few times we have seen him pass in the Gatlinburg game. He's a dimer. So you have to watch out for that as well because they just do the same package and all.
Mackey might have space on the outside. He does. Got the better of Eddie Deptola, and the first score of the game will go to the PAC Panthers.
And that's just Mackey able to use his speed and just able to use his stiff arm to hold off that guy, and easy touchdown for him.
Extra point attempt.
Mackey on the year with 2 rushing touchdowns. Will add that to his total to bring it up to 3. He's been involved on this entire opening drive for the Panthers out of Columbia, South Carolina. And we'll have a PAT here. Henry Bennett is 4 for 5 on the year as we have a stoppage. Flag potentially for a false start. It looks like they will move it back 5 yards. Maybe a bit of negotiation between the freshman and his head coach or his offensive coordinator, Ben Fremming. It is an offside on the defense, so they will move it up half the distance, and they will opt to try and go for 2 here.
It's that cadence again, able to get the guys to jump, and now you're a little bit closer.
No need to depend on Bennett, as it's easy for Gage Taylor to push forward into the end zone. And that'll make it 8-0 for the PAC Panthers here. They score first in Florida. Four minutes and 16 seconds is the length of time that the PAC Panthers took to get their first score of the game. Tacked on a 2-point conversion after it got moved up. And this will be returned by Logan Potting, who will get tripped up. In the words of our producer, James Shannon, the turf monster got to him and gets tripped up about at the 15-yard line. Looks like they'll spot him around the 13 or 14. And now we can talk about Eddie Deptola, team leader in rushing yards, only player for this Heat squad that has passed at any attempt on the year. Has over 1,000 passing yards, 57 for 110, and only 4 interceptions on the year. The senior has been a staple for this Heat offense. As you can hear, we are in the Heat side fan base. We get to hear that all afternoon long as Deptola keeps it himself, slips again, and may have gotten to the first down. They will spot him just past it for a gain of 11.
You have to hate that as a quarterback. That turf monster is getting everybody today. No survivors today with the turf monster.
In the first quarter.
So Deptola managed to get that carry there. You mentioned he had 740 rushing yards on 71 attempts. Also does not lead the team on rushing attempts, but another carry here, the right side. The one who does lead in total rushing attempts is Logan Potting, the junior, who carries it there for his 77th carry of the season.
And if you were still watching, even when he was wrapped up, he was still ready to go. It's just for safety reasons, you had to, as a ref, you had to blow the whistle.
Potting, the junior, on the season. Anytime he carries the ball, it's about 7.8 yards on his attempts. Manages to only get about 3, maybe 4 there to bring up second down. Here's Deptola across the middle. The catch is made in coverage. Holden Smith, the team leader in receptions, has to be forced for the whistle to be blown. Evan Watt on coverage, but it's a first down for the Heat.
And boy, does he have a cannon. I mean, he darted that thing in there. I don't know how the defense let him do that, but great pass and great catch. It looks like a hurry up.
Another deep toss just outside the reach of Holden Smith. Would have been an incredible reception had he pulled that in. Had a good play to force a first down there, but couldn't get another chunk gain.
That was a great, perfect throw. Just couldn't get under it. And if he would have got under it, that secondary gave up, and that had been an easy touchdown.
Yeah, not something that Holton Smith misses often. 21 catches on the year for 320 yards. Pretty much any time he catches the ball, he's got 15.2 yards. So he's getting you a first down and a half, and you can see why they trust the senior so much whenever they try to pass. Here's the sophomore. He'll hand it off. Another spin attempt for the junior to get forward, but the defensive line for the PAC Panthers, nothing will be allowed, and they won't even spot it for maybe even a half-yard gain. It'll just be a 3rd and 10.
This is where you give credit to the PAC's defensive linemen. This is what they're known for, stopping that run up the gut. There's no way you're getting them there. You're going to have to either stretch it out or do a nice little toss in order to get them off their game right there.
This is where you see how Sean McNulty's defensive coordination comes into play. Seeing a 3rd and 10, this situation here. Under pressure, being chased down by Stroud. He'll air it out, and I don't know if that got back to the line of scrimmage, but at least looked like receivers in the area, so no discussion of intentional grounding. But a 4th down and 10, and a decision here for Ben Fremming and Chance Taylor.
And that's a smart play by the young quarterback. Just if there's too much pressure and there's no one open, just throw that ball far as away as anybody else as possible, but make sure there's a guy close enough to where you don't get intentional grounding.
Looks like the Heat will settle for punting it short of midfield. They will trust Noah Horn, as that will bounce first out of bounds around the 32-yard line, and the PAC Panthers offense will get a chance to march it down the field again. Remember, their first drive took about 4 minutes and 16 seconds, so could extend it a little more to try and get us to the end of the first quarter, but this Heat defense will try to say something about that.
And it'll be tough for them to do because that's the PAC's game plan, is to get that ball running and get the clock rolling as well.
Tempo control is what we've seen from the PAC Panthers over the last several years, even with changing their head coach between 24 and 25.
No, even with coaching change, nothing really changes here in PAC.
From the 35-yard line, this will be handed off, and the defense will allow several yards after contact. A good push up to the 40 for a 5-yard gain. It's so tough to bring down some of these tailbacks for the PAC Panthers, and that'll push forward for a gain of 5.
And that's kind of the double sword of these PAC Panthers here. Not only are they tough guys and fast, they just know how to take some hits and able to bounce off guys and get enough yards for a manageable first down.
Winner of this competition faces off against the Southern Christian Patriots for the Division III championship. The loser will face off against the Coastal Hurricanes in a bowl game on Saturday. Good carry, Gage Taylor. He'll push forward for a first down. Gain of 7.
Gage Taylor just looks like a man amongst the boys here as he just piles through that and get an easy first down. This defense is going to have a hard time trying to stop this run game with him.
Under 4 minutes left to go in this opening quarter. And a quick 3 and out for the Heat. It's only the 3rd drive of the game. That same formation the PAC Panthers have been using for the majority of the game. Lob it in the backfield. Carry to try and get through several players there. And Josh Williams will take it up for a gain of, they'll count it for about 6.
I talked about these run backs enough. It's time to give the love that keeps giving. The offensive line have made that gap, and they won in the trenches for sure for that. It's the only reason why they got that first down, or closest first down.
You look at some of the offensive linemen for the PAC Panthers, they've just got some more, we call them big boys, at least when you look at the separation there. But it's sometimes the weight room can be deceiving on that front if you're still pushing heavy. As you see this clear matchup here, pressure right side wide open, just outside of the hands of Evan Watt. He leads the team in catches and receiving yards, but the junior couldn't pull it in.
Like I said, that's the type of play action pass you have to worry about when it comes to the PAC, because they saw them gang up on there, coming with the blitz, and they're like, let's throw a little pass there. It just, maybe the wind got it, or maybe it was just too much.
Had a little bit of clouds here earlier in this first competition here for the other D3 semi. 72 degrees, mostly cloudy. Temperatures will be dropping down in the next couple hours, but the breeze is picking up. It's like we have some wind gusts starting to pick up here in Panama City Beach. Alone in the shotgun, Bennett, quick toss, gets the connection this time as this goes over, and another chance there on the outside that'll make it around the 37 for a first down. Good catch and run.
Bennett able to just throw a dime over there. Like I said earlier, he's a great quarterback and runner there, and he showed you his talent there.
They'll spot it at about the 35-yard line in Heat territory. Looks like a mirror of what we saw on the first drive with PAC Panthers winding the clock down and marching it down the field. They'll run it again. Here's Josh Williams breaking through. Josh Williams, and it's another rushing touchdown for the PAC Panthers.
And that's just shout out to the offensive line and Josh Williams just being patient, waiting for that gap to get open and just taking advantage and hauled off to the end zone.
About a 35-yard rushing touchdown there. Josh Arney leads the team in rushing touchdowns at 7. And you could see why he was on the first team for running backs in the SIFA this year.
I'm sure that's hard to vote on with all the running backs they have on this team that can do a lot of damage all around as a team.
Here's the freshman. Gets it through. He does not. Looks like from this angle it was good, but it'll be ruled wide. He's now 4 for 6 as we have a 14-0 lead, under 2 left in this first quarter. Bennett will boot it away. This will bounce close to the goal line, a couple of yards short, and trying to return it here for Liberty is Logan Potting. We'll get just a couple of yards around to the 10-yard line and give a chance for this Heat offense to try and generate something down 14-0 early on. Yeah, less time for the PAC Panthers to drive down and get that touchdown there thanks to the breakaway from senior Josh Williams.
And that's just something that offensive line was able to help out. Easy touchdown, and now it's all up to the Heat in order to get some points to make this manageable. They have plenty of time, but this game can get out of hand as much as PAC Panthers get that ball in their hands.
And on their offensive side, they have 3 different characters they lean into, and they have a sophomore, junior, and senior that they hope can have some step up here plenty early to try and generate things. As in motion, looking for an opportunity, they'll shove it back, this time to Potting. And PAC defense read right through it, be a loss of about 3.
And I don't know if the kickback was worth it. You might as well keep it if you're going to take a loss like that. That's something the young guys just got to learn as he goes.
It's so hard in offensive situations like that to split second decide where you're going to go and which is going to be better.
Which is okay with the young guy. You know, this might be – it's a first-time pressure for him in this type of environment, but you know, you go run with the punches and you figure it out now so you don't have these mistakes later.
Yeah, this Heat team only one playoff appearance since their inception in 2023. Had a loss there, 22-6, and that was this past season, or past couple of weeks ago, as they have a carry that'll gain back some of the yards lost there and then some for about a 3rd and 8. So you're right, not many opportunities for this young Heat roster to try and feel that pressure. Gives them an opportunity here on the national stage.
Yeah, because this PAC defense, you can't just keep trying to run the ball. You're going to have to throw the ball eventually, and it'll help because they'll lighten up that defensive line pressure as they come in.
I believe that both sides are just going to let this run down to the end of the quarter, and they'll settle to regroup.
That's going to end the first quarter.
They'll regroup and swap sides of the field. PAC Panthers have come early on the strike. Rushing touchdowns from Mackey and Williams result in a 14-0 score here in this D3 semifinal for the NHFA. Second of 4 frames here in this Division III semifinal for the 2025 NHFA tournament. A scramble here for Deptola. He airs it out across the right side, incomplete. Intended for Brantley Warren, but the ball way out of bounds. Not even a chance for that to be caught. And we have another 4th down. The Heat will punt it away.
And again, I think it's just that PAC Panthers defense just applying that pressure. Again, good, smart move by the young kid just to get that ball out and get away from safety.
Managed to only get a couple yards back from the penalty earlier on, and from about the 9-yard line, Liberty Christian will punt it away. Noah Horn with the boot, the second punt he's had on the contest, and it goes out of bounds. Shaves off 18 seconds, and the PAC Panthers, depending on the spot, looks like they will start in Heat territory. Not as much to drive, and maybe a generous spot there as they move it to the 35-yard line. As early on, no timeouts burned from either side to this point. It's a chance for the PAC Panthers. You wonder, especially early on, not really a need for either teams to really burn them, but at least the Heat have it in their back pocket, especially since they will get the ball to start the second half. Plenty of time before they have to think about those scenarios. And now 35 yards from the end zone for this PAC Panthers team, and it'll be a spin move tackle. There's a flag down on the backfield. Didn't look like any gain there for Larry Reinard. As I wonder, will this be moved back or forward? And it's a holding on the offense, so they'll send it back to the 45-yard line.
That's what I say is Usually when the flag is thrown like that, around that time, it's more likely going to be a hold. And that's going to hurt the PAC Panthers, but they usually make up for the yards. I'm sure it's a relief from the Heat, as they need this type of luck in order to make this game manageable.
First and 20 after the hold. Looking for the pass here. A scramble again. Right side, it's intercepted. This one picked off by Caleb Malpass. He did not have an interception on the year, and the junior has got a pick across midfield.
And the way that play was looking, it looked like he honestly set up the quarterback, because he kind of just sat there like he was one of the wide receivers out there. He just threw it straight to him and was able to get that interception easily.
Malpass saw that all the way through. Deep pressure there for Patrick Bennett, who's only thrown 7 interceptions on the year, so has had his challenges with that, but hard to make a smart decision in pressure like that. And the junior gets the big moment with 11. And looks like we'll have our first timeout here. Looks like it was ruled an official's timeout. We have an unfortunate injury on the other side. It's one of the Liberty Christian players down, Logan Potting, who just ran the ball there, and we will step aside while they look at the young man. Now, a good sign is junior Logan Potting did stand up zone power. tackle.
It was just a perfect tackle. Just wrap around, get your head down, and get the guy down. Make sure he doesn't move anywhere because it was a fight.
At least from our vantage point, it looked like it was Larry Reiner led the PAC Panthers in the regular season and SIFA postseason on 37 solo tackles at 71 total tackles for the team out of South Carolina. About a 4-yard gain on that last play. It does put the Heat in the red zone regardless as they try to carry it forward, and a tackle for loss on the backside. Great awareness, James Ashelman, and it's why he was a first-team linebacker in the SIFA this year.
Just able to read that gap, see the play, see the quarterback get the running back, and just hit him immediately before he's able to do any damage.
James Ashelman on the season, 71 tackles as well, 12 of them on his own. 16 tackles for loss in the 2025 campaign thus far. Brings his total up to 17 with that one, and brings it up to a 3rd and 9. Here's Deptola, quick sling. He's got the pass and the connection. Well, through several tackles did John Hansley as he pushed it forward, but it will not be enough for the first down, about a yard short, and you would think they go for it this close to the end zone.
Oh, absolutely. You have to at this rate because you got to get some points on the board before you hand over this ball to the PAC Panthers and they do damage and run that clock down.
Maybe rerun their own version of the tush push here. Worked well on the earlier part of this drive.
We've seen the Eagles try, 5 times against Washington last year in order to get a touchdown, so by all means, do it again. It's an efficient play and it'll work as long as you know how to work it.
Decision time. It looks like we are going to get a timeout before that decision is made. 6:05 left to go in the first half, and the Heat will burn their first timeout of the half and think it over on a big 4th and 1. Got at least a loaded schedule for you. This is the last of the Division III games here for this Thursday afternoon. You got some other games that will be broadcast as well, and at least here from Publix Park, Division II action will get started with a game following this one. Bensford Christian, the Eagles, will collide with the Southampton Raiders, and then the Division II championship and bowl game will be set with the 7 p.m. contest between East Central and Acadiana. The Patriots and the Lions will collide there. Acadiana, as Division I is happening all their matches over at Gavlax Stadium at Arnold High School. 4 p.m. Tri-State Christians Crusaders will collide with the Freedom Cowboys. That'll be on 8-man Extreme Alabama. And then the South Haven Patriots and Evangel Christian Lightning at 7 o'clock will collide. Their respective team broadcasters would have those games covered for you. Maybe do a split screen between the twos. Decide which home broadcasters you enjoy. We love them both. Make any decisions you want on that one. Split screen all of them through 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Right now is the only game you should be watching among the 8-man football scene. Big 4th and 1 here, and they'll try to push it forward at Deptola, and we had whistles before the play went off. And a false start, they'll move it back 5 yards, so no tush-push attempt here. They'll move it back for a 4th and 6.
And you hate to see it because it really worked for him, and if the player could have kept going, he probably got more and maybe even end up in the end zone.
Still 4th down.
It's those sort of penalties that Coach Richmond and the coaching staff not wanting to see, especially this late in the season.
You see how much it hurt in the last game if you're watching, because Coastal Carolina had a lot of penalties, and that was one of the big reasons why they lost that game.
Yeah, about a 20-plus point margin for Coastal, and they'll play in a bowl game on Saturday, while Southern Christian awaiting the winner of this competition. They send Smith in motion, but Deptola will keep it under pressure. He slings it out to the right side, incomplete, and a turnover on downs forced by this PAC Panthers secondary.
And I think that's the only bad mistake he pulled right there, as he was trying to do a little hero play, but I don't think he saw that one corner just sitting there getting ready to intercept that ball.
An interception from Liberty Christian's defense, specifically from Caleb Malpass, results in a turnover on downs, and the Panthers will take over on their own 20-yard line, maybe around the 19, as the PAC Panthers offense keeps the shutout hopes alive with 5:54 left to go in this first half.
If I'm in the Heat, I'm going to build up that box in order to get the run game stopped.
And that's what they try to do there, but no tackle. Looks like a good wrap-up by Noah Horn, and still on his feet is Jerikas Mackey as he's finally brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Managed to try to get several yards after contact, but stuck behind the line of scrimmage.
And I think the Turf Monster got him on that too, because you saw his cleat fell off, so the Heat are thanking the Turf Monster right now. It's usually them that had to pay for it, but this time they got the Panthers.
Gets to a loss of about 8 yards on the play for a 2nd and 18. Not something you see often from this PAC Panthers offense.
Nope, it's usually positive, but when a play like that, it's kind of hard.
And flags from the backside. They'll cut the play dead. Looks like someone moved on the line. And another 5 yards back. Timeout called by the PAC Panthers at 3:10 left to go in the second quarter. They'll get a chance to think about what they want to do on this 4th and long. Fourth and about 12, maybe 4th and 13. We got a boot for this punt, and I believe the first time the PAC Panthers have punted all game as it goes down to about 2:57. they'll wind it down to 2:54 left to go here in this first half. And we spotted at about the 45-yard line. Remember, the Heat get the ball to start the second half, so a chance for them to chew up the clock here, drive down about 55 yards, maybe get a score and some momentum heading into the second half, and a chance for the PAC Panthers defense to make a stand.
And it's very important for the Heat to get a score here as much as it'll take the momentum. You already kind of have it with that punt. You finally stopped them. Now, offensively, you just have to score. You made them turn over the ball twice. Let's try this time to get a touchdown.
Sophomore quarterback alone in the shotgun. Got two receivers on both sides. High snap. He'll have to struggle to sling it across the middle, and it's intercepted. Evan Watt had 2 interceptions on the year, only for 2 yards, and his third one, he loses the football at the end of it, but luckily that'll go out of bounds, maybe inside the 10, and PAC will retain possession. But a big play on the third interception for Evan Watt on the year.
That's just a tough loss by the kid, but it's okay. You try to make a play, beam it in there. That's just smart defensive play by the secondary on PAC Panthers, and able to get that interception in a little closer to the end zone.
About at the 12-yard line is where they'll spot it with the forward bouncing fumble. And both teams have had a turnover based on an interception thus far. And they'll hand it off in the backfield. Josh Williams trying to push through. He'll be stopped by the defensive line. Literally talked about on the start of that last play where the Liberty Heat could have had a chance to march it down the field. Also mentioned that PAC had a chance to make a statement on defense. Very much did.
And now they have a chance to run the ball, get this some time off, and possibly even score to give a little 21-0 advantage.
About a 2nd and 5. Motion on the outside for Taylor. High up, he'll get the ball, and he'll get the touchdown.
That's just an easy play call. Have your guy in motion, catch the ball, in easy run in for a touchdown. There's nobody around him.
His first receiving touchdown on the year. Gage Taylor, the senior, had 5 rushing touchdowns heading into Florida. And another score here for the PAC Panthers to make it 20-0. And 2-point conversion attempt is good. Easy sneak up the middle there. And tack that on for 22-0 here under 2 minutes in halftime. And kickoff is on the other side of the break. First team punter kicker for the SIFA sends it deep, and Holden Smith will try to get a return here, and he'll weave through several players, has one to beat, but he's not going to get past Andrew McCabe, who is a first team defensive guard for the SIFA, shuts down any chance of a breakaway, but a good kickoff return to about the 40-yard line. We'll even spotted a little further at the 42.
And that's what you need from your kick return. Special teams right there, just make it a little manageable. Make it easier for me to get up that field and get closer to the end zone.
Minute 35 for the Heat to drive down the field. They have 2 timeouts to work with as well. And, of course, in high school football, you do have the clock stopping anytime there is a first down to spot the chains. The time a little bit on their side if they want to march it down here, but also had that on the last drive. But this PAC defense has been tough to handle today. A scramble. Deptola has to get through the defensive line. We have a flag. Looks like a horse collar is what they'll call, and that'll be a good advantage, or a good break, I should say, for the Heat. At least that's what it looked like from this angle with the way the Deptola went down.
But now Deptola is saying he got to hold the face, so let's see what the ref calls. Yep.
Yeah, face mask. Looked like either that or a horse collar, so they'll move it up another 15 yards, and the Heat will start their next set of downs on the 41-yard line in Panthers territory.
Now everything going the Heat way now. They're getting the momentum, they're getting it, and now they just need some good offensive play called now to finish off this drive to the end zone.
And they'll hurry up to the line here, trying to be conscious of the play clock and the time. Deptola, man to his right. He'll look for the pass. He's forced to scramble, and Deptola will be brought down for a sack. James Ashelman had 3.5 heading into Panama City and tacked that on to make it 4.5.
And again, that's a young player. Shout out to the PAC Panther, able to get in there and make him pressure. But the hard part is you got to learn as a young guy just to throw away that ball and get on it.
And they'll hurry up to the line instead of calling a timeout here. Wasted about 10 seconds as this gets deep toss. Holden Smith intended. It's incomplete. Good coverage, and that will stop the clock at 34.5. The Heat had 2 timeouts here, and I guess they wanted to try and conserve those and maybe get a big chunk play, but about 20-plus seconds taken off of the clock on that last sequence.
Yeah, and that's a hard call when you feel confident in guys to make that play, but if they're not ready and not hurried up, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you.
22-0.
And it's so tough to make those decisions in real time if you're a coaching staff, too, and trying to think about the strategy. It's a lot of chess maneuvers involved in those sort of things. But 34.5, they at least have the benefit of the clock stopping that completion. But they're now on a 30 and 20-plus yards.
Sometimes you got to make the smart sacrifice and call on the timeout just so you have more time to manage.
Coordination from the offense here. Quick sling, right side, the catch is made. And to the outside is Holden Smith trying to get through, and they'll wind the clock as his forward progress got stopped out of bounds. And a timeout will now be called by Coach Richmond. He'll have 1 timeout left to work with and 24 seconds left to go here in this second quarter. And Brendan, this is one of those, you're across midfield. This PAC offense has been able to score really early on, and PAC also has 2 timeouts. So one of the more challenging situations where you think, what do you do here on the coaching side? Do you trust your defense to try and hold PAC in the last, you'd say how the play goes, maybe 19, 18 seconds? So a lot of decisions to be made here in these huddles.
Yeah, and honestly, you have to punt it off. I mean, this PAC team has shown how efficient they are, and it's way too close to even try to do a turnover on down. So the more you can have them on their side and having troubles getting to the end zone, it's a lot better.
The other challenge is Noah Horn on his punts, too. They've all gone out of bounds, and they've only gone maybe 10 or 20 yards, so that helps you a little. But as the PAC offense has shown, it doesn't matter really where they start from on their offensive drives. They could get you a quick chunk plays on the passing game or even on a breakaway run. Big decision here from Coach Richmond.
They have plenty of game breakers from the running backs in order to make that big run.
And it looks like they will go for it. It's about a 4th and 16 close to midfield. Deptola, he's going to air it out on the left side, intended for Smith in double coverage, and overthrew his target. Clean coverage there from the two defenders, and that's the second turnover on downs forced by the PAC Panthers so far.
Now you got to trust your defense in order to heat the slam, even though I don't think PAC will try anything crazy right now, but you never know.
17.2 left to go on the game clock. Now, I know for those who are seeing the shot in the scoreboard, they've got PSC and NOLA. We got it updated for you on our full scoreboard here, but for those who see it on the camera shot, PAC Panthers representing NOLA, I guess. And we got whistles here. Looks like the officials will have a clarification. We got a flag for... they're waving it off, just an inadvertent flag there from the official, what we potentially hearing. Or they'll move it up for illegal substitution. That's what it was. So, you saw the official waving the flag in the air like it was potentially a no penalty on the play, but an illegal substitution called on the Heat. You can even hear the coaching staff from here saying, "That's on me, my bad." So acknowledging that, moves it up 5 yards across midfield.
Just one too many guys on the field.
Sling across the middle, almost. Holden Smith looked like he wanted to dive and intercept that. Pass intended across the middle for Evan Watt.
Number 9, Evan Watt.
Sometimes it's just better to deflect the ball and get that down and on to the next play.
Leaves 11.8 before we get to halftime. And it looks like Coach Taylor will burn a timeout here. So looks like the officials were ruling for substitutions. They may not have had enough time to allow the defense to get an equal opportunity to sub there. And I believe that Burns they have one timeout left, do the PAC Panthers, so do the Heat. Well, we know at least Southern Christian will be a part of tomorrow's special edition of Extreme Talk. The head coaches for all of the national championships, Division 3, 2, and 1, as well as a player from each team, will be joining James Shannon. Time to be determined from the Promised Land Chapel in Panama City Beach. James, or Stephen A. Shannon, as he's known around the eight-man football world, he will get a chance to talk with the players, and I'm sure he'll make some sort of baseball cap pick like he usually does. I wonder if he's going to do all three divisions. No, last year he did two, so be a lot of caps that'll need to get from people, and should be a fun show live at PCB around Laguna Beach Christian Resort. Time to be determined. Check out all the 8-Man Extreme social media channels for more information. 11.8 left to go here in this second quarter. About a 2nd and 5 here for the PAC Panthers. And a little bit of a bobbled snap there, but still scrambling with it. But no chance to get past Noah Horn. And that should end the first half. Or we do have a timeout with 1.7, so Coach Taylor at least wanting one more chance at getting this towards the end zone with 1.7.
Which is a crazy call timeout. I mean, just let the just go to the half and worry about it later. You're up 22. Just make some adjustments defensive-wise, because obviously you guys are starting to get challenged by the Heat. Luckily, you got some penalties going your way, but just go on to the second half.
Well, and you also have to think about, for Liberty Christian, they get the ball to start the second half, so that might be what's going on with Ben Fremming and Chance Taylor, in that they want to try at least one more shot there to try and get it towards the end zone. But now that it's around the 43, 42-yard line in your own territory, it's a big ask of your offense. Not that they're not capable, but it's a big ask, and especially, as you said, up 22-0, it'll be interesting to see how this play goes.
And your defense has been holding them up, honestly. So, I mean, I don't get this whole rush, but, hey, it's the coach's decision. I'm not in that seat. So
you have three. Initially, it was three receivers on the right side. They'll send one in motion, and a lot of players deep. Time will expire. as Evan Watt is incomplete on the pass attempt, and that'll take us to the end of the first half. 22-0, these PAC Panthers team looking in form like they did last year, just in a different division. They lead the Liberty Christian Heat 22-0 at halftime. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the start of the second half here. You're watching the 2025 NHFA Division III semifinal for high school 8-man football. First half has been all PAC Panthers. The Heat trying to change the narrative in this second half as they will receive the ball to open up the third quarter. 22-0 in favor of the Panthers from Columbia, South Carolina, as the Heat from Richlands, North Carolina, will face an onside kick. It has gone more than 10 yards and is picked up there by Wagner. Fall on it at about the 35-yard line, so no major danger for the Heat to worry about in this case. I wonder if these teams feel any sort of rivalry from the states between them in North and South, even though there's not that much of a rivalry really anymore between them. So, but I wonder if there's anything like that for, hey, you're from North, hey, you're from South.
No, I think they just come together as Carolinians and just love each other.
First play for any offense in this second half, and it's a tackle for loss by Andrew McCabe, the junior, who had 76 tackles heading into Panama City. He's got another one in there, led the team in total tackles for loss at 21, and has forced a loss of about 5 yards.
This offensive line is going to have to do better at blocking off this PAC defensive line because they need something to get this offense going in order to get back in this game. There's plenty of time to go. Just got to figure it out.
After this contest, it's where we start getting into NHFA mania, as we'll call it, with games going on both fields, Gavlac and here at Publix. Two receivers to the left side. They'll send one on the back end. Holden Smith will take it to the other side. Might have some space if he had gotten past Larry Reinard. But if there's one thing we know about Larry Reinard from watching him the last several years, you're not going to beat him that easy on the outside.
Not at all. That kid has some speed on him, and he's able to catch you. No matter how far you are from him, he will wrap you and take you down.
Third down.
One of several players from this PAC roster returning from National Championship Team 2024. I know very much what this Florida environment is like, maybe not here at the rebranded Pete Edwards Field. Participated, at least for the last 2 years, in Vernon. From about the 32-yard line, about a 3rd down and 13, this Heat offense trying to generate some momentum in their opening drive of the second half. Deptola, quick sling incomplete, intended for Noah Horn. And it looks like another 4th and out will be forced by this Panthers secondary as the punt team will come out for Liberty Christian.
You just hate that coming out the second half, just not able to get the offense still going.
Third down.
Now you got to trust your defense in stopping this PAC Panthers. You're getting a turnover in order to get the ball back.
And they have managed to get some turnovers throughout the first half and at least been able to start something, but challenge has been capitalizing on it.
Yeah, coming in halftime, they got that interception, and they got that turnover on downs. So hopefully this defense can keep up what they're doing and stop this PAC offense.
Horn gets his punt blocked. Punt blocked by Henry Bennett. And Henry Bennett's first blocked punt of the year results in a drive set to start on the 15.
And that's not what you want right there. Just a block on the punt, and now you give them short advantage of the PAC Panthers offense there.
Henry Bennett getting action on special teams. More than just his responsibilities on the kicking end. He can also block any sort of kicks, even though punt is technically not considered a kick, but can at least get things done on both sides of the ball in special teams. Carry up the middle, still trying to push through several yards after contact for PAC Panthers offense.
Gage Taylor just doing what he does best, going up the middle and just dragging players on and getting enough yards to make a manageable second and about 5.
Yeah, good gain on that play for about 5 or 6 yards there and pushes it up. PAC trying to capitalize on this blocked punt. Not many yards to worry about on that front. Hand it off again. Trying to push through is Gage Taylor. Got another carry. He'll move the chains for a 1st and goal.
First down.
It's just easy play calling. Just now that you're closer to the end zone, give Gage, your star player, Gage Taylor, the ball and let him do his work.
Here's now a 1st and goal from about the 5-yard line for the Panthers, and going right up the middle by himself to the goal line. Touchdown, Patrick Bennett.
And Patrick Bennett's one of those, I guess you could call him a dual threat. Not really much of a dual threat because they run a lot, but he's a big body quarterback, able to just hike the ball and get the yards himself, and that's for our end zone.
You now have 3 different players for the PAC Panthers who have rushing touchdowns so far on the game. 1 receiving touchdown from Gage Taylor, but Mackey, Bennett, and Williams have all found their way into the end zone for these 3 scores.
PAC just shares love all around. There's a whole bunch of guys that can do some damage, and they showed that.
Bennett through the uprights. He got the blocked punt, missed an extra point earlier, but he is now 5 for 7 on his PATs thus far on the year. 29-0. PAC Panthers leading here over the Liberty Heat. Booted deep by Bennett. This will bounce to a chance for Smith to return again. Trying to use his speed. Got through about 2 defenders. Couldn't get past the 3rd one. Does get a return to about the 28-yard line. And Liberty Christian will try to reset here. Can you think about this? The first time that the Heat have made their appearance here in Florida for Liberty Christian. Just a couple of years ago, they're now 8-17 overall, trying to build a good program and build a momentum here. Again, first playoff appearance they had this past season, and trying to build off of their momentum. And first positive season for them too at 6-3. So it's one of the things that even with the results right now, this Liberty Christian fan base loving to see that they have the opportunity, as Deptola will take it to the left side. How about a big run from Deptola? Eddie Deptola tiptoed the sideline, forced out of bounds by Evan Watt, and it's big plays like that are why Liberty Christian is here in Florida.
And he even got me with the trick play, and I'm running the main cam. I thought the running back got the ball. Instead, he gets out there and blasts for a good hard gain. And that's what you need, like you said, to build up this type of momentum for this team and for the culture of the squad.
Well, we sent it to break so quickly because Gage Taylor for the PAC Panthers was down on the sideline. He's good now. Deptola on the scramble again. Eddie Deptola trying to carry the team on his back. He's got another first down, back-to-back first downs for the quarterback who's a sophomore.
Shout out to the young guy. Now he's getting those reps in, getting it in. Just look at this perfect setup here for the play. Nice little draw play. He's just able to put the team on his back and get a nice full yards to get a first down.
We mentioned that Eddie is the team lead for rushing yards as of October 28th, and it's plays like that you could see why. And trying to generate momentum for his team on his own, even with them being down 29.
He's definitely got that giddy-up speed for sure. As soon as he's able to plant that foot, he's out of here as soon as he gets going.
Now the challenge is this PAC defense is so good at adjustments that you wonder at what point they'll mix things up, and they will with a lob pass. Potting trying to look for a pass himself. Did get a pass off, but it's intercepted. Had his hand hit as he was passing it off, and the interception made by the PAC secondary. And they will credit that to Ashelman, who had no interceptions on the year.
And that's just bad decision making there. If you see somebody's coming, just hold on to that ball and take the loss for yards. I'd rather you that as a coach, do that instead of put an interception and turn it over the ball.
So I don't think that was Ashelman because you could see him standing up cheering on his teammate who got the interception. So one of the other PAC Panthers in the secondary getting it there. But regardless of who got to the ball, it was a great move by the defense to bat the arm of Logan Potting.
And that's what you want to aim for as a defensive linebacker. You're taught that. Go for the arm and don't try to go for the ball.
Heat tried trick plays. PAC Panthers read right through it. As on the outside, pushing through a little bit there was Henry Bennett again.
And Henry Bennett's just cooking this team right now with his running plays. The whole team is, but he's having a big game right now.
Okay, I beg your pardon. It looked like his jersey was scrunched there. That was the sophomore Silas Cook on the carry, who on the year has not had a single carry for the PAC Panthers. So good to see the sophomore getting some reps in on the running back position.
Let that young man cook.
And there's another young man trying to cook here, trying to push through this defensive line, trying to mimic a scrum in the rugby scene, and gets a gain well past the yard to gain. First down on the 41.
Channing Douglas on the carry.
And he just pulls through as a big man. These running backs, they are going to take the whole line with them if they get stopped.
Brings up another first down for the PAC Panthers out of the many they've gotten throughout this afternoon. As we reach the halfway mark, winding down in this third quarter.
And the sad thing is, the one time that the Heat tried to send a blitz, they went over their heads and just threw the ball.
And some movement there, maybe encroachment. Who are they going to give the benefit to on this one? And it'll be an encroachment for the Heat.
5-yard penalty.
They had a 1st and 5 coming up on the 50.
Still first down.
Again, PAC Panthers just testing this discipline on his defense. Are y'all jumpy or y'all going to stand still? And they got them to jump.
Another thing to keep in mind with this being on a turf field, 73 degrees right now and sunny. That turf adds another 10 degrees, so you have 83, but breeze is blowing, not as hot as it's gotten in other places. As this is loose in the backfield and falling on, looks like Evan Watt, one of the rare mistakes that you see him make. Actually, that is Silas Cook in the backfield, so one of the players, again, at his first rushing attempt just a few plays ago and mishandles the ball there for a loss of about, we'll say about 12.
Well, gain it up to him not getting as many reps as he probably should, and probably not used to able to catch those tosses.
Let's go, defense!
And Keeper on here, right side, catch made. And trying to go for it on the push forward. That's a catch made by Aiden Jakowski, the junior. No receptions for him on the year. So now the PAC Panthers late in the game, starting to rotate in their other players, give some others some rest out of the 34 total players they have on their roster.
Shout out to the Heat defense, able to get out there right time and able to stop that passing play from gaining any yards.
4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Usually this is what you see out of your teams. If you're up like 29, certain amount of points, why not just let some younger guys get some reps in?
39-yard line, third down.
Yeah, and you've got a number of 34 versus 28 in terms of the comparison on the roster numbers, which at first glance some might think that 6 players doesn't make necessarily a huge difference, but especially in the 8-man football level it does when you have more depth, as we've seen from other teams, including the PAC Panthers in the past. As another carry up the middle for Silas Cook. He gets stopped by the defensive line. One of those he might feel later in the morning as Noah Horn gets a big tackle.
Now this defense has hold them, and this is fourth down. It's all about what PAC wants to do. This is their game. They can either punt it or go for it.
And again, they got plenty of time where they don't have to worry about that sort of thing.
Yep, and if you're the Heat defense, I will apply much pressure as you need to maybe block this punt, so it gives you a little advantage yard-wise.
And they will choose to boot it away, trusting Henry Bennett again, a high up and takes a PAC Panthers bounce to about the 36-yard line. And the Heat will get another chance on offense to try and get on the board for the first time today. Liberty Christian Academy back on the offensive side. 2:39 left to go in this third quarter, trailing 29-0 in this Division III semifinal. Up the middle, a good carry. We'll see where they spot him. Looks like it's good enough for a first down. They'll spot it about a yard short, maybe second in inches, as it's another big gain there. Looked like Deptola was the one who carried it forward.
And I don't know what the offensive line adjustment is, but now they're getting it. They're winning in the trenches. They're making those gaps for the guys to run through easily now.
Counted there on a 2nd and 1. Deptola on the scramble. He's going to be swallowed by that PAC defensive front. Several players, including Channing Douglas, getting in on the sack.
As I gave him a compliment, they start to lose there. But you got to give him at least the kid held in there strong enough, tried to find the pass, but eventually he had to start thinking of running out and run for his life.
Mentioned this Liberty Christian roster, a total of 28. They have 7 seniors in the leadership category, 11 juniors, so reloading not going to be much of a problem for the Heat going into next year, as well as 6 sophomores and 4 freshmen. So have to see who rises up through 8th grade through the LCA system and other places, or other students that choose to start attending LCA out in North Carolina. Pitch on the backside, potting. They get tackled for a loss of about 4 to 3 yards. It'll go back to where they started, just a yard past it, for a 4th and 9.
And like you mentioned earlier about these younger guys getting some reps in, it's also working for the sophomores here. And juniors are getting some reps too, so now for next year, you have something to look forward to.
One of the things that mentioned before, been a couple of injuries throughout the game as the clock continues to wind, but at least the good news is one of the players is just getting stretched out. We mentioned you never like to see a player go down, but when you see them just ask for stretching there, this is a high snap. Noah Horn will keep it himself. Horn still has it, trying to make something of nothing. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. They'll maybe generously give him a half yard there, and it's the third turnover on downs forced by the PAC Panthers.
It was a good save by the punter, able to keep that ball in at least and get a few yards gain. It's not the first down, but at least you get away.
And we do have a flag down, so I think we have a personal foul given against the PAC Panthers. So a new set of downs for Liberty Christian with that personal foul.
And a good break for them as well. Able to get a couple yards, or nice little field advantage now. And go into the fourth quarter, maybe you get something going offensively.
16 seconds left.
Yeah, they didn't give any specification other than personal foul, did the officials. At least at first glance, maybe something where it was where on the hit it was maybe body weight or something along those lines. But a good break for the Heat. So, okay, so we're getting it's a sort of helmet contact situation. What we're hearing is it was a extra tackle at the end of the play, so probably count that as a late hit on the officiating not officiating scorebook, on the record book, I should say, as this will be across midfield after the penalty, and this Heat offense is new life with 16.4 remaining in the third. And they'll hand it off here. Chance for John Hansley to make something here. His first carry of the season in Florida. 13 carries for 28 yards on the year. Gets a gain there of 4 to 5 yards, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. It's been all PAC Panthers, 29-0. Start of the fourth quarter, 29-0 in this NHFA 2025 Division III semifinal. Second down, pitch on the backside, looking for the opportunity, high up, incomplete. Intended for Noah Horn. And as much as they've crafted incredible offensive plays, have the Liberty Heat, they haven't been able to capitalize, and that's been the story of the game.
And it's hurt them real bad because they have some, like you said, they've had some great plays. They just can't get it done and can't get it started. So now they're in this whole predicament, 21-9-0, and just trying to see what in the playbook is going to work.
Spencer Townsend, Brendan Daniel, producer James Shannon running production side, audio side, scoreboard. Preston McElhaney running our other camera as well as the directing side. Here at Publix Park, Pete Edwards Field in Panama City Beach, Florida. As this is lobbed over to Holden Smith, going on the wing. He's got the first down and a little more. Holden Smith with a big spark, and this Heat fan base at least loving what they're seeing late in the game.
Finally, an offensive play that works. It happens to be the running back toss, but whatever works, right? And he's able to get plenty of yards to make it manageable to get to the end zone.
And it's so rare that we've seen in this game that PAC's defense has allowed those running back tosses to get gains more than a couple of yards. Usually they're anticipating it.
Right, but it's like I said earlier, usually they're all bunched up in the middle, so sometimes you need to go out in order to get their attention. They've been going, the Heat have been going straight up the middle.
They'll start this new set of downs at the 21-yard line, and with the ball now is Caleb Malpass. He'll get stopped at about the line of scrimmage. And looked like for a second there was a case being made for one of the PAC Panther defenders that he may have stripped the ball, but whistle blown before he got a chance to do that.
The guy just had nowhere to go. He's trying to find any type of gap to run through, but the PAC Panthers defense just loaded them up and just no holes in order to run through.
Second and 10, pitch in the backfield. Holden Smith with the same play just to the other side. Gets a good collision there to try and gain a couple of yards. A good sportsmanship from Larry Reinert after the tackle to help his brother on the field up.
Like I said again, that's awesome. Got them a couple of good yards to manage, and now you're like 3.5 away from a first down.
Gets him a gain of 4 yards for a 3rd and 6 here. This PAC Panthers team, about 9:45 left before they have a championship date with the Southern Christian Patriots. For Liberty Christian, have a bowl game against the Coastal Hurricanes if it ends up being that way. But Eddie Deptola keeping it himself for the 1st and goal down to the 8-yard line.
Good play call, just a nice little fake sweep. Keep the ball and get first down.
Gaining the first down.
Tell you, we were talking about how Deptola was starting to carry the team on his back before the interception had been thrown by Potting. Trying to generate that similarity here as he gets them within 8 yards of the goal line.
And as you see, that mistake hasn't affected him at all. He's kept his head up and do what he needs to do in order to get his team close to him. Doing something on this offense.
From about the 8-yard line, a handoff up the middle. Here goes Malpass trying to push through. He'll get another chunk gain for a couple of yards, maybe around the 5 or 4, and it brings up a 2nd and goal.
And it looks like they're taking a little game out of the PAC Panthers book and using that little fullback dive in order to get some yards gain up the middle.
Heat team trying to get their first score of the game. Might be here. Gary Holden Smith trying to push through. I tell you, this PAC defense really does not want to let the Heat score in any capacity.
No, they want to shut out, but this Heat team is really resilient. They are going to score whether it kills them or not.
8:04 left in the quarter.
Third and goal from about the 5. Chance going to the right side. They get it to the punter on the reception, but he's not going to get close to the goal line. They'll spot him at about the 2 as Noah Horn got the catch but couldn't push through the defense.
You hate that as you see this replay here. Just good patience. Hold on. Wait for that play to develop. And just great tackling and force out by PAC Panthers defense. They're fighting not to get that touchdown.
4th and goal at the 2. Closest that the Heat have been all competition long to punching it in the end zone. PAC fan base trying to do their part. 4th and goal, flag in the backfield, and diving for the end zone. It's ruled a touchdown for Holden Smith. Let's check the flag.
Like there's a flag on the play.
I believe it's coming back. You hate to see it, but I think it's coming back.
Came from the white cap on the backside, so maybe an illegal formation on one of the linemen. Either a false start or a legal procedure called on the offense. They will move it back 5, and once again, penalties preventing great plays for the Heat.
We just hate to see it because it was a great play call, perfect, and able to get that touchdown. But now you're set back to a few yards, and now trying to think of a play that could get you back into the end zone.
From the 6-yard line, move back. Both fan bases trying to do their part. The PAC side, you could hear them more loudly right now. Deptola under center. And another whistle. Do we have a false start again? And it is another false start on the game for the Heat. Tell you, by my count, that's close to 5 false starts now throughout the competition for Liberty Christian.
You hate to see it because, like you said, this is late in the season now. You shouldn't have these type of penalties these days, but it still happens with the how close you are to the end zone, the crowd making noise. It's kind of hard.
Liberty Christian is going to burn its first time out of the half. They'll have 2 remaining. PAC has not used any of its timeouts thus far, as this Heat team on a 4th and 6 has a big decision to make.
Fourth down.
4th and goal. They'll move it back. They moved it back another 5 yards, about the 10, 11-yard line. Liberty Christian trying to find the end zone for the first time on the outside with the pass. He's not going to get there. A great reception made by Holden Smith. An even better defensive move by the cornerback, and it's a 4th turnover on downs forced by PAC.
And what a heartbreaker for the Heat. They're so close. Let's see how close it is. Oh, just the PAC Panther defensive player just able to get there at the right time to stop it.
It looked like it was Lucas Alvarez, the sophomore, who only had 1 solo tackle on the year, making the stop. As we mentioned, the PAC Panthers rotating their other players in at this point, and the sophomore getting a 2nd solo tackle on the year, and a big moment, as this defense has not had a shutout all year.
Now they're working towards it. Now they have the chance of running the clock down and take this W.
And they'll do just that with starting to run it up the middle and continue to shave time off of the clock. And certainly in this case, it is not a question of Liberty Christian's skill set. It is a question of how good is this PAC defense. And as we've seen, they've been able to just anticipate plays, be able to make stops, and even when they've allowed big plays from players like Deptola and Potting and Smith, they've been able to recover and shut it down with interceptions, forcing 4th and outs, and it's just Liberty Christian hit a freight train in the PAC Panthers today.
And it's just really the culture of the PAC Panthers defense. As we've seen so many times in so many ways, they are a very disciplined defensive team and able to get stops when need be.
There's another big rush up the middle. They'll give a reward to Henry Bennett, their kicker and punter. Give him a chance to run through and get another set of a first down here. And going down the stretch of the rest of this tournament, the D3 bracket will be finalized after this matchup. You've got Southern Christian and PAC, known also as Providence Athletic Club, but most people just call them PAC around the 8-man football world. But both those teams colliding in the Division III title match. One of those competitions that will certainly be one to watch as we get into Saturday's competition. This defense does wrap up and tackle for about a loss or 1 or 2 yards. But even then, Liberty Christian and Coastal in the bowl game on Saturday as well. It really plays out to have some good matchups to conclude the D3 bracket.
And with these 2 matchups already, I think it's going to be a great little game there for both of them. Coastal's a very good team, and Liberty Heat, if they get their offense going, they're a great team too. Offensively, they just met the PAC Panthers, and it's just hard to do anything against this team.
And you wonder, as this gets heading up the middle, carry another couple of yards, and it'll get us down to under 4 minutes. And it's so tough when you're making decisions of which teams are here, a part of the invitational tournament, how you not seed them, but how you place them and whether you get the best matchups and things. And sometimes we've seen this over the years. You have semi-matches that are one-sided, but it results in really great bowl and championship matches when you have the two victorious teams and two losing teams face each other.
And shout out to the guys who create these matchups, because I'm sure it's hard and difficult to make it, but they have figured out. And I mean, I wasn't there to hear the James roast, but it seems like he was very spot on with it from what I'm hearing.
Fake lob, toss right side. What a play worked up there by the PAC offense. And on this breakaway, Gavin Taylor has got a big play after the reception from Henry Bennett, his first passing attempt of the year.
And he just flicked it. He didn't even like really throw it. He just flicked it off as you watch this. Straight, great action play and just flick. Just a flick of the wrist.
Bringing back some old internet lore on that one. Gets it to the 50-yard line, under 3 remaining, and it shows you that this is also a chance for PAC heading into their championship game. They're working on these trick plays and what can work, what can't, does this execute well or not. So now they know that at least that one does in this situation.
It might be harder to do on Saturday against that South Christian team. I was having troubles remembering their names.
Yeah, Southern Christian Patriots. There's 12 teams, record amount of teams here in the 8-man division now for the NHFA. It's first year they're doing 12 teams. It's maximum of 8 in previous years. Most of the times it's only been 4, but now bringing it up to 12 teams. And first time it's going to be split across 2 fields. That will start at this next competition at 4 o'clock. Tried handing it off up the middle. They did, but it was taken. Liberty Christian got it. That fooled everybody on here. The ball stripped by the senior Sawyer Smith. What a maneuver to turn it over.
And it's just Sawyer Smith being a smart senior. Just, hey, if he's going to hold straight up and try to run the ball straight up, let me try to steal the ball from him then, if that's the case.
It's the second time all of us have pretty much been fooled on those sort of circumstances, but Sawyer Smith with a great strip.
It just shows his heart right there for his team. Let me do what I can to get my boys back in this game, or at least get another drive going for my offense.
I tell you, the Heat parents are loving this, even with the way the game is. Under about a minute 58 left to go in the competition. No question of energy from this fan base.
Yeah, you just have to keep up the energy for the boys, because even though they might be put down, you can still give them energy to catch them back up and get them to do something.
Here goes Deptola with the toss. Good catch made, Holden Smith. He's got it at about the yard to gain. They waiting on a signal there. One of the chain crew members is anticipating to move, and he will be ruled short by a yard, but chance for them to take it down. And the Heat do have 2 timeouts left that they can use if they choose, but the ball did get spotted out of bounds to stop it at a minute 50. And we have whistles, another flag, false start. And discussion among the officials right now to determine what happened. I think they're trying to clarify if this is potentially an encroachment or not.
So I didn't see anybody jump on offense.
It's an illegal substitution and a false start, so it offset. Very rare you see that happen.
But it's lucky, and you hear the parents breathing inside like, whew, at least it's offset.
Second down to Liberty.
Pressure for Deptola. Got it left side. What a catch in coverage. Catch made, Noah Horn. Noah Horn is going to go to the end zone, and no shutout for the PAC Panthers as the junior gets his third receiving touchdown of the year.
And this is what they've been waiting on. Just almost got him sacked, but nice to keep the ball down, get out there, and give it to the nice punter to get it in for a nice touchdown. No such thing as a shutout now for the little PAC Panthers.
And you know the best part on that? No flags. No penalty either.
That's a sigh of relief on, I'm sure, the players and the parents' side.
Hearing from some of them saying, oh, thank goodness they got one.
I'm even saying that for them, honestly, at this rate.
And here's your point after attempt. And that was held by Deptola, booted through by Dryden Wagner, the senior. That makes it 29-7 with 1:35 remaining in the contest, as Liberty Christian has at least something to build off of heading into their bowl game on Saturday, and makes it for a great way for them to potentially conclude this game. Be a 22-point lead, which is what we saw going out of the halftime break. So if you look at it that way, the Heat have tied in this second half at 7-7.
Yeah, but when you look at that scoreboard, that's all that matters.
Yes.
But hey, you get some positive out of it. You see, it's just been the offense not really clicking, and now that you got something clicking, now you have something to look forward to the next game of Saturday.
And you also think about these 7 seniors for Liberty Christian as well, leading the team on this third season, leading them to their first playoff appearance in the NCISAA, and making their way down here to Florida after having a positive record for the first time in program history, and getting a chance to show out on the national stage, or at least bring more awareness to their program. And they'll get another chance at that against the Coastal Hurricanes on Saturday with the bowl game. And this is now the second time that this Liberty Christian team has kicked off. I think probably onside kick here, right? I mean, what do you got to lose?
Right. Might as well take the shot, see if you can get the ball back.
They'll trust Wagner, and he will go onside kick. And it was touched initially from the PAC Panther, but Aiden Davis, the junior, no worries there. And I would imagine the PAC Panthers will just knee it out here on this final possession. But, again, tremendous match put together by the PAC Panthers. Of course, allowing that last touchdown at the end of the game. You could say this was a complete performance through about 3.5 quarters for them. And you wonder, especially, how much of a complete performance they'll be able to do against Southern Christian. It's two teams, very tough, very resilient, and a D3 championship that's going to be set for Saturday is a really good matchup.
And I think it's going to be a very heavy defensive game, because at the beginning of the South Christian and Coastal Carolina game, no one can really get points on the board, versus PAC Panthers, where they can run the game and figure it out.
And they will at least run it out. No victory formation at this point, as Eli Ashelman, the sophomore, gets a carry there. Several players for the PAC Panthers getting their first carries and first receptions throughout this second half, and getting a chance to rotate people in. That's Ben Fremming, who even talked to us yesterday and was saying that they had an up-and-down season, have had several players that blew out their knees, a couple other injuries here and there, and that they believe if they were not faced with those injuries, they would have made a case for the Division I bracket, which, at least looking at this team, they could probably compete with a lot of other teams down here in Florida.
Oh, yeah, especially with what they've been doing here defensively and offensively. If no injuries would happen, there's probably a way they've gone for another national championship, maybe back-to-back.
One more knee will do it here. This team led by 9 seniors in the PAC Panthers, and they've got themselves to another national championship appearance in 3 straight years. The Panthers from Columbia, South Carolina will play for a national championship trophy, and they've got a date with the Southern Christian Patriots on Saturday for the Division III NHFA title. And as for the Heat of Liberty Christian, they do have one more match. They will collide in the bowl game against the Coastal Hurricanes. Still great matchup to witness, one-sided certainly, but both teams never a question of if there is any effort diminishing between these two respective schools.
Liberty plays tomorrow at 11 o'clock against Coastal Harrison, and looks like PAC.
One of the best traditions in high school football, the handshake line. All of them meet together, and then at least at this level, they have the post-game prayer and meeting and encouragement between all the teams. And that will do it for day one of the Division III NHFA bracket. For Brendan Daniel, our producer James Shannon, director Preston McElhaney, all the hardworking men and women that make this run so smoothly, I'm Spencer Thompson saying so long from Panama City Beach. The Panthers moving on to the Division III championship game, and the Heat moving on to the bowl game with Coastal. Tomorrow is their break day, and then Saturday they will collide.